Today I want to talk to you guys about Kraken, and I want to look at the onboarding process into this platform. So Kraken is a top 10 cryptocurrency exchange. It's very popular in the US, and they do about $1.5 billion per day in transactions, so it's quite large. And I'm applying UX research methods to understand this process of onboarding to Kraken. I want to understand everything from account creation to identity verification to funding the account, and then finally to actually purchasing crypto. And in the UX space, we call this a user journey. These are the underlying steps that it takes for a user to go from fiat into cryptocurrency. And I think this is very important. This is a overall series that I'm doing where I'm looking at multiple cryptocurrency exchanges such as Gemini, Crypto.com, and Coinbase. And I want to compare the experiences between these and look to reduce any friction points along the way so that the easier we can make it for somebody to convert from fiat into crypto, the more likely crypto is going to go mainstream. It's just going to facilitate more user adoption. As an example, there are some cryptocurrency exchanges where I couldn't even figure out how to deposit fiat money into the account in order to purchase crypto. I mean, that is a halting pain point right there, a friction point. I couldn't move any further and I dropped off. So you have to think that some people who are willing to buy crypto do show up to these exchanges, but literally just can't figure out how to make it happen. And this is a big loss. So the entire process for Kraken took one full business day, which was too long. It was longer than other exchanges like Coinbase, which I'll talk about in another video. And I also encountered other highly significant usability issues along the user journey. Again, these are pain points, friction points, usability issues, however you want to think of them, but these are areas that Kraken can improve in the user interface and the overall flow of the onboarding journey to encourage more usage of their platform. So as I said before, there are four major phases in this crypto onboarding journey. The first is sign up. This is very similar to what users have seen before. Like if you sign up to any other Web2 service like Amazon or Facebook, you're going to create a username, a password, maybe give some more personal information about yourself, and then usually go through some email verification process to activate your account. We'll see that in a second. The next is to verify ID. This is so that that Kraken can abide by KYC and AML regulations imposed on them by the US government, and it requires uploading of more sensitive and private information like social security number, date of birth, and capturing the front and back of a driver's license, for example. The next is fund. This is actually where you need to deposit fiat money into your Kraken account. And then the last phase is buy, where you use that deposited money to actually purchase cryptocurrency. So let's zoom in here on sign up. And this is the full user journey here. And for sign up, let me just zoom out a little bit. The first step is to go to Kraken.com, obviously, and then go to the top right that says create account. And you put in an email, username, password. They're asking for the country and state, and then I agree to the terms and conditions. Nothing new here. Now that I've put in my email, it's now asking for me to activate my account. So I go to my personal email address, I open an email that Kraken just sent me, and I click on the activation link. And there's a loading screen, and then it takes me to a login screen here. See a loading activating bar, circular bar right here, and then takes me to the login screen, and then of course you log in with your credentials. Now all of this is fair and good, and again, this is a very standard process, but I do want to point out a small usability issue here for me. I go to the email and I click the link and it says activating account, so it's loading, but I get no confirmation. It doesn't say, like, there's no green check that says your account has been activated. So when I originally did this, I didn't know that my account had been activated, and I thought that the session had just kind of dropped off or something went wrong. And so I didn't know. It took me a little bit to then just try logging into Kraken over here. In order to test whether it had been activated or not. I really was expecting a verification. So that's just a really small usability issue, but I think it would help clarify the initial account activation process if they changed that and added a confirmation in. So let's move to the next phase, which is verify. Again, verifying your identity. I really like what Kraken did here. Once you first log into your account, it says that in order to purchase crypto, you need to verify your account. And I really like that they give 3 different tiers. They have an express, intermediate, and pro tier, and each require a different amount of KYC information. So for example, the express tier, it's going to ask for social security number and date of birth and my residential address. And intermediate is going one step further than that, and it's going to require that I upload my driver's license for Kraken to verify my identity. So the express takes 1 minute. Intermediate takes 4 to 5 minutes to upload these things, but I just really like how Kraken thought of the different kinds of users who are going to use this. If somebody is okay with a $9,000 bank transfer limit, then they can, within 1 minute, get started with that, right? They just do the minimum verification, and now they can onboard 9K to Kraken and use that to purchase funds. So I just like that they're getting the kind of new user and light user here to help them quickly onboard. But also, if you know what you're doing and you know you're going to be pushing high volumes through this, then you might want to go spring for the intermediate tier and unlock those other account capabilities with just slightly more verification steps. So very cool that they did this. And I didn't see any other crypto exchanges do this. So again, I click on the intermediate verification. I click go up to there and I click verify. And then the next screen is to put in my full name, my date of birth, occupation, residential address, and phone number and social security number down here. So now that they have my social security number, that's checked. Now they say that they need to identify a document. So it's either a passport, driver's license, or ID card. And I selected driver's license. And now you have to select a upload method for how to capture the driver's license. So they give you 2 options here, a webcam option or upload photo option. And I click I click webcam. And I have a webcam on my computer. It's what I'm shooting right now in this video. And simply I move my driver's license up to the camera and try to get it into this gray white box, and it eventually auto captures once it has adequately read the driver's license. And it was a little awkward, to be honest. It's kind of like it's like reverse, you know, so like if I go left, it goes right on the screen, and so it's kind of this like weird process of centering it in those gray boxes, but it's okay. It's nothing too much to complain about. So yeah, so you have to do the front of the driver's license, and then the next step is to then do the back of the driver's license. So they're essentially scanning the full driver's license. And then once you have captured the front and back, there is this loading screen here, which lasts for 20 seconds. I'm not kidding. This loading screen lasted for 20 seconds. Usually, this is an issue for me because usually loading screens shouldn't take more than 5 seconds. If people see a spinning bar for more than 5 seconds, they're going to think that something timed out. It's just never going to unfreeze. Yeah, maybe it is frozen. So this was just too long of a loading screen. And I think that they need to change this because I thought that the session was broken. But actually, I did continue past this once that 20-second loading bar had completed. The next step is to do face verification. So they give you, again, a box to fit your face. I'm using webcam. And I move my face up to the screen and click take photo manually. Now I have to say that the first time that I did this, I kept my glasses on. I moved up to the screen, took the picture, and then I got an error message about 20 seconds later saying that the photo couldn't be parsed. So then I tried to retake it, this time taking my glasses off, and it worked. So you would think that it was because I had my glasses on, maybe they couldn't match my actual face picture with what was on the driver's license. That makes sense to me, but maybe they should have said that. They should say that below face verification, like if you're wearing any headgear, not headgear, but like something to obstruct or that you're wearing on your face, to take that off. And then again, I got this 20-second loading bar screen saying checking your documents. And this is just, again, it's just too long for me. And when it said it was loading, it said checking your documents, I thought, oh, okay, I'm waiting for the actual account verification right here and right now. They're trying to instantly onboard me to this app. So in a way, it's good. Like, I'm fine waiting on this screen and getting verification. But that actually isn't the case, because once this loading bar completes, it says success. Your account is still being verified. So again, this goes against my mental model of what was happening in the background. Really, I think that these images were slightly larger. I'm shooting on a 1080p webcam, and so it's taking a while on the back end for them to upload. But I, as a user, thought that I'm being verified here and now, which again was not the case. So my understanding was different than what was actually happening on the back end. And they might want to just change the verbiage a little bit. Instead of checking your document, you might want to say uploading your images. Also, a word or a comment to the Kraken development team: I wonder if you can compress the pictures to an adequate resolution so that they upload faster and users aren't having to wait 20 seconds on the screen wondering what these loading bars are, or if their browser has frozen. Last thing I want to say about account verification: you see this ending image says, or this ending message says, success, your account is being verified, but they give no estimated time for how long it's going to take in order for your account to be verified, right? And so I know as a user that I'm going to be missing some capabilities until I have been verified. And so I'm wondering, what's the bottom line? Could this take up to 3 days? Could this take a week? Should I be expecting an email in 30 minutes? In fact, what happened is once I submitted this, I received an email that my account had been verified in 10 minutes. So that was really fast, but I just didn't know what to expect. Like, should I leave my computer? Should I go make a coffee? Should I just log off and wait for a couple days and not expect to see anything until then? Again, so Kraken should be more clear about expectations for how long it takes to verify the account. Great, let's go to the fund phase, and this is the longest, most arduous phase of it all, and it's kind of a pain. So let's dig into exactly what's happening here. So the first step is to go to, let me zoom out a little bit. The first step, I click fund account and select US dollars there for what I want to deposit into the account. Next, I put in an amount, and I click show best deposit option, and it comes up with a Synapse bank wire. And now I can access the bank details of the Synapse wire. So it gives the address of the bank, routing number, account number, and I'm going to need this to then go into my personal bank account, which is Fidelity. I'm going to have to initiate a bank linkage. Since I've never linked this Synapse bank with my Fidelity bank, I'm going to have to link new here. See, link a bank to Fidelity and initiate this process. I have to go through a text message verification. Now I have to manually add the routing number and accounting number going from the Kraken browser to the Fidelity browser. I have to manually switch back and forth and copy and paste the routing number and account number in, and that's kind of a pain. And I get a confirmation screen here, and I say agree and submit, and now it says, great, this account is being linked. The good thing is that account linkage is instant, so that's good. There's no waiting there. But after I link the account, now I actually have to initiate the money transfer. So I go initiate the transfer. I select the account that I want in my Fidelity account. Then I select the Evolve Bank and Trust, which is the Synapse bank wire, which I just linked. That's an issue right there. It's called Synapse on the Kraken website, but now on Fidelity, it's a completely different bank name. These should be reconciled and they should match each other so that the user has a framework or a consistent mental model. And then you put in the amount, you click continue, you get a confirmation. Okay, you're going from this Fidelity account to this Synapse account. It's a bank wire. Today's August 2nd, and the amount is $1,000. Cool, confirm. And then it finally lands in the bank account. Now, I want to go back now and talk about some specific usability issues within this, though. This was not as simple and as good as what I just made it seem. So the first is that going back all the way to the first step here, where you click fund account and then you enter the amount in and it gives you the deposit option. So I want to go to this video. This is the actual screen recording that I have. And the first couple of times I did this is I went and I put in the amount $100 and I got errors 3 times in a row. I click show best deposit option, it gives me an error, and it does this 2 other times. I'm like, what the heck is happening? So just that in itself, literally I got 3 errors in a row by typing $100. I changed the amount to $1,000. It wasn't working. It kept taking me to an error screen. Just that alone can frustrate users and get them to drop off. What I ended up doing is sort of refreshing the page, backing out, and coming back into the fund your account in a different way. I used a different route to get there. So now it thinks I'm trying to deposit Bitcoin. I changed that to US dollars, and now it works. So it's very confusing for me why there was an initial error message. Now another thing I want to point you to is that it says some of these messages over here say the deposit limit for your account may be lower than the maximum allowed by a deposit method. So this is complicating the process. We have our Kraken account, which has a deposit limit right now of $9,000 per day because I'm not verified at this point of the process. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Now I have $100,000 per day. So I am an intermediate. I have intermediate Kraken verification. So yep. So I have $100,000 per day, but now Synapse has its own deposit limit, which I looked into, and it is $25,000 per day. Let me see if I can find that. Yep, here. Funding limits for Synapse funding method. Daily, $25,000. So this confuses the process. We have a Kraken intermediate verified account with $100,000 a day limit. In Synapse, the only deposit method that they give me has $25,000 per day limit. So in reality, I have a $25,000 per day limit because it is limited by the Synapse bank wire. I wish that Kraken could reflect this somehow on their user interface. Okay, this is misleading, this $100,000. It's not possible for me to transfer more than 25 grand per day. The other thing I don't like about this process is that you have to jump between multiple interfaces. Ideally, I would like to set up the bank wire and deposit everything just from one Kraken screen and just continue to get pop-ups. This is how Coinbase does it, and it is by far the industry gold standard for how to deposit fiat into a crypto exchange. But on Kraken, I'm having to go from my Kraken web page and now open another browser to get to Fidelity and start to initiate and start to link a bank account in Fidelity and then initiate a transfer from Fidelity and go back to Kraken, get the routing number and account number for Synapse and copy and paste it into the Fidelity interface. So it's just a lot of switching that it's fine for me. I'm a younger person and I grew up with the internet and computers, so I kind of have that dexterity, if you know what I mean. But I know older users would have trouble with that and could get frightened by switching between these two interfaces. All right, here's another scary usability issue. So once I had submitted the money transfer in Fidelity, right, here's the confirmation screen. It's telling me from to in the amount, which is $1,000, and I click submit. 1 hour later, after I click submit, I get an email from Fidelity saying your bank wire was successful, which makes me think that the money should be in Kraken, right? If the bank wire is successful, then that means that Fidelity is telling me that they have taken $1,000 out of my account and moved it into Kraken. But when I went back to the Kraken interface, it still had a $0 balance in Kraken. So it makes me really start to get scared that this $1,000 has been lost somewhere in the process of this bank wire. Like, I don't even know what a bank wire is. And I don't know who the custodian of my $1,000 is now. Is it Synapse? Is it Kraken? Or is it Fidelity? Now, I went back in after this and I looked at that. $1,000 had not been taken out of my Fidelity account at this point, but it was a confusing email to get. I think they were saying that like just the submission of it was successful, but that the money hadn't actually been moved yet. It was just very confusing and slightly scary. Last thing to say about this, these bank wires are not instant by any means. Again, after I got that email verification, 9 hours later, it landed in my Kraken account. So this took one full business day to link the bank accounts together and then for the money to actually land into Kraken. Last thing to say about this funding phase here is I was wondering if there are any fees for a bank wire. And because I saw this message down here on Kraken, any fees applied by your bank to money transfers are not shown here. And I looked through the Synapse details and there's no mention of any fees for Synapse. But this message just got me thinking, like, am I going to get charged twice? How much is the Synapse fee? Like, the Synapse fee could be $100, you know? And I mean, so in the end, I sent $1,000 from Fidelity and received $995 into Kraken, which means that there was a $5 fee. Okay, that's no problem, and that's great, right? That is like a very low percentage of the amount of capital that I was moving. However, this becomes a limiting factor and a major inhibitor for people who are trying to make micro investments into Kraken. Let's say the only deposit method that they have is to use Synapse to move money into Kraken and use that money to buy crypto. Well, if they can only move, let's say, $50 at a time, or maybe even $15 or $10 at a time, then a $5 flat fee is going to be a major inhibitor for them, and it just doesn't make economic sense. And there's no other way for them to purchase crypto at this point. Other crypto exchanges, they do offer a credit card purchase option, although the fee is extremely high on it. I think it's like over 3.5%. But Kraken doesn't even have this for small micro investments. So again, like the micro investor is not going to be able to use this interface at this point. Okay, last phase here of the user journey is buy phase. So this is once the 995 has landed into the account. Now we can go up to the top and click buy crypto. We go and we select which asset we want, which is in this case Ethereum. And there is something on the bottom left of the amount that says buy max. So it's like, I want the maximum amount of Ethereum that I can get with the fiat money that I have to buy. And then it takes to a confirmation screen where it gives you the exchange rate. At this time, it was about $2,500 of USD per ETH. What's the amount that I'm purchasing and the fees associated with this. So it subtracts the fee and then it buys the amount that I can get. So I'm really only getting $980.30 of Ethereum, or sorry, Ether, and not $995. It's because there's a transaction fee. No problem. This is what we would expect. And then you get a confirmation that you have bought Ethereum. And then you can refresh your screen or go back to the home page of Kraken and see that you now hold Ether. That was the full user journey for onboarding to Kraken.com. From account creation to cryptocurrency ownership took one full business day, which is middle of the road for other crypto exchanges. Crypto.com took 2 full business days, but something like Coinbase took only 30 minutes. So Kraken has a significant competitor in this space. I think that one of the most important metrics probably is that time metric of how fast can you go from creating an account to actually owning crypto. So Kraken needs to reduce that amount of time. Also, they need to offer other deposit methods. I only had one deposit method, which was Synapse Bankwire, and there are usability issues associated with that. And a very scary occurrence happened. As I said before, I submitted the Bankwire. Fidelity confirmed with an email that the order had been placed, and then I went back into my Kraken account and nothing had landed. So I thought that potentially I could have lost the funds. I don't know much about bank wires. I don't know what's happening in the background, and I get that this is a fiat problem. Those crypto enthusiasts out there are gonna point and sputter at the banks, and that's fine. I get that, but we need to be cognizant of these experiences as product designers in the crypto space, and we do need to tighten these user experiences so that it is a seamless, fun, and simple process to buy cryptocurrency.